Hey everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review. And today we're going to be doing Batman Rebirth, Volume 3, I Am Bane. Now Bane, one of Batman's deadliest opponents he's ever gone up against. The man who broke the Bat is one of the most powerful, dangerous people that he's ever gone up against. And not only is he powerful, no, he's not just a brute, but he's an intellectual mastermind, a strategic mastermind. He can outwit, outthink, and outsmart his opponents before he even goes into battle with them. And that's one of the reasons why he was able to beat the Batman. But see, not only did he beat the Batman, but he broke the Batman. Batman's lost before Bane. Yeah, this happens. But he always comes out on top on the end, right? Not with Bane. Bane did something that no one's done before. Not the Joker, not Ra's al Ghul, not the Riddler, not anyone. He broke the Bat. He broke the Bat not only physically, but mentally, and he broke the Bat's spirit. It took a while for Bruce to recover from the damage that was caused by Bane. It even took longer for Bruce to be able to get that rematch that he needed. Bane was an unstoppable force. And when he showed up in comics, oh, you better be ready. He was something to watch out for because you knew something was going to go down. Someone was going to get hurt. And Bane was a high prolific villain throughout a good chunk of the 90s. And even into the early 2000s, but somewhere after, I want to say like 2002, Bane started to become less high prolific. He started losing. Batman even got a couple up on him a few times. In their first rematch in Batman Legacy, Batman beat him outright. It's kind of like Bane's credibility was falling down. And even going into the New 52, Bane wasn't really winning that much. I remember the Forever Evil story arc where Bane got his own little solo series and he still lost in the end. It's kind of like I said, credibility. Bane was losing it. He needed something, a story to bring him back like a phoenix rising from the grave. Okay, a really jacked phoenix on steroids, venom, drugs, whatever. But a phoenix nonetheless, rising from the grave, the flame, the ashes, and becoming the villain that he's supposed to be, becoming the adversary that he's supposed to be. And we saw a chilling version of Bane in the I Am Suicide story. And it did something for Bane. It made him intimidating and menacing. It made him someone that no one wants to go up against. Despite the fact that Batman was able to get one over on him, oh, Bane was not done. No, Bane wanted revenge. And he's going to get it. Volume 3 is a continuation of the I Am Suicide story arc. Basically, Bane is kind of ticked off. His boy, Psycho Pirate, and if you really want to call him his boy, but Psycho Pirate's been taken by Batman, who's using Psycho Pirate to fix the damages that were done to Gotham Girl. And Bane wants him back because, you know, Bane has one weakness. He's kind of a junkie. Not necessarily just for the venom, but for anything that, you know, makes him right, makes him feel right, makes him do the right things. So Psycho Pirate does that for him. And he basically attacks Batman at so many different angles in order to get what he wants. And Batman goes out there and he warns his whole family. He tells all the Robins, he tells Duke, he tells Selina, he tells everyone, stay away. And of course the Robins say, nah, we got this. Don't worry. No, they don't. Duke is actually the only one that takes the advice of Batman and skips town, eventually coming back. Selina, though, says, no, I got this. I don't need to go out there and do anything. And even she's put in a line of danger. It's like Bane is attacking Batman from all angles because he wants Psycho Pirate back. But he also, to one degree, wants revenge on Batman. Whether or not he gets those two things, well, you're going to have to read and see. In addition to that, Volume 3 of Batman for Rebirth includes 3 backup stories. One small one and 2 individual issues. The first one is Batman's proposal to Catwoman. There is no hiding it. Spoiler alert, Batman proposes to Catwoman. And she says yes, they're going to get married in July. So this issue includes the actual proposal itself. The next is the introduction or reintroduction of Ace the Bat Hound to the Batman mythos, but in a way that you would never expect. And finally, a backup story that involves Swamp Thing and Batman searching for, well, someone that Swamp Thing is incredibly interested in meeting. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. You know, Bane is one of my favorite Batman villains. Actually, he probably is my favorite. Although I would have to say Ra's al Ghul's up there too. Not my favorite villain, mind you. That title still goes to my boy Deathstroke. But Bane is such a great character because he's not just a brute. He's a thinker. He goes out there and he defeats his opponent in his mind before he even faces his opponent on the field. And I will have to say, despite the result, win, lose, or draw, this does a very good job at rebuilding Bane as a credible threat to the Batman mythos. And it does so much that it springboards Bane into his own solo miniseries, a 12-issue maxi-series, really, that's being written by the legendary Chuck Dixon, who Bane was basically created by. So this does a good job at rebuilding the credibility of Bane, and despite the fact it's a Batman comic, there's a lot of key players in this. It's not just focused on Batman. You get to see some development and some cool things from Batman, Catwoman, and Bane. And this is really where Tom King starts to really dig deep in ranking Catwoman a little bit more of a, I don't want to say a sidekick or an ally, but a partner to Batman, right? Because, again, eventually these two are going to be married. So we need to really establish the status quo of Batman and Catwoman's relationship when taking on villains and bad guys and all that sorts. The art by David Finch is absolutely gorgeous. I do not like the Rebirth costume, if you want to call it the Rebirth costume. I don't like the Greg Capullo Batman costume. I don't like how the cape comes from the collarbones. I don't like how, you know, it doesn't drape over, kind of hiding everything in his body. The yellow lines I don't mind on the bat symbol, but I don't really care for the belt, and I really don't care for the purple in the background. With that said, Finch does a beautiful job at drawing it, and he makes it look good. Probably because he just draws the New 52 costume with a little bit of flair to it, but the art is absolutely gorgeous in this. And for the times that Finch isn't on the art, it's still gorgeous. And some really good stuff comes from the comic book. So the art is without a doubt a selling point. The backup issues are nice little gems to read. The Ace the Bat Hound one is a great a boy and his dog kind of issue. The proposal to Catwoman is a really good issue, and of course that's probably because I love the relationship with Catwoman and Batman, but it's a really good issue to have on there. And the Swamp Thing one, the one that you never expect, is also fantastically well done. I really think the usage of Batman's secondary characters, whether it be Alfred, Commissioner Gordon, Catwoman, and the Robins, are handled pretty well here. And also the great thing is, although you have backup stories, this is actually a fairly short story arc, only a couple issues, so you can go through it pretty quickly. And sometimes a story benefits from it being shorter rather than longer. I mean, easily Tom King could have thrown an issue in here to kind of drag things out, but he didn't, and I think that was, I think it worked out. And you know what's interesting is there's a lot of comparisons between Bane and his mother and Batman and his mother. A lot of side-to-side paneling, and them talking to their mothers in their head and seeing them through childhood. And you know, it's interesting to divulge into that mindset with the two of them and how they think, because you have to understand, Bane is a child, basically, in the mind. This guy grew up in prison, and he never had a chance to normally mature. I mean, he's a man, and he'll act like a man, but he has a few childish tendencies. And it's kind of interesting to devolve into that and to kind of look into that a little bit more. So I really enjoyed that. Bad. I wouldn't say this is a per se bad, but I'm going to put it in the negative category. The Catwoman Batman issue where he proposed to her, it's a great issue. But it's complemented even more if you read Flash Batman The Button. So, which I'll go into at another point. But basically that's the pivotal turning point for Batman and his decision to pursue Selina and to pursue happiness. Because in The Button, he meets up with his father, and his father basically says, from Flash, when it says, be happy, be a better man than I was. And he takes it to heart because it's coming from his actual real father. It's not a robot, it's not a clone, it's not a hallucination, it's his real father. Mind you, an alternate timeline version, but still his father nonetheless. And I think the individual issue itself benefits from it. So I almost recommend reading Batman Flash the Button before you read this volume, because it's a good story nonetheless. But in saying that, that I think definitely is on the negative end. But overall, I Am Bane is a really fun story. It got some criticism from some people when it was in individual issues, but I think that's just a vocal minority. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I enjoyed the action. I enjoyed the intensity. Mind you, you know what? Another bad. The end does happen abruptly. The fight between Batman and Bane, but on a whole, I think this was handled as a great story for many of the characters, and even Gotham Girl. As I'm flipping through the pages, even Gotham Girl towards the end. Her story arc was, not story arc, but her usage in convincing Bruce to take the next step was handled pretty well also. Do I recommend getting it? Absolutely. This is really good storytelling. And again, this is at the point where the Tom King stories are starting to rev up. Like, you know, I Am Gotham was kind of messa. I Am Suicide was much better. I Am Bane is great. And then you're moving on to the War of the Joke and the Riddles, which was also pretty good, and then you're moving on to the next stuff, which we'll get into once it comes out. But yeah, this is really fun. Recommend getting it. Batman Rebirth has been some of the better of the Rebirth content that has been out there, and is highly recommended by me. With that said, the next volume I'm going to get into for my reviews is either All-Star Batman Volume 1 or Justice League Darkseid War. I don't know which one. Probably All-Star Batman Volume 1. But who knows? I really want to dip into Darkseid War because I have a lot of opinions on that too. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram, the links are down below. And if you want to support me on Patreon as well, the links are down below. With that said, I'm going to end this video review here. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.